A kickoff to the summer season, sure, but Memorial Day weekend stands for much, much more. It was established to reflect on the service and sacrifice of people who died for our freedoms. And this Sunday morning, we remember them. Our point of departure is a moving tribute, now calling Southwest Florida home. The state's Purple Heart recipients will live forever here.
Our very own Daniel Eggers from Cape Coral is right here. He's the third one in on the top. And we actually have a memorial that his father made.
Then heroes by the boatload. It was a day worth remembering for some of our local veterans.
I remember them more than on Memorial Day, but on Memorial Day I get really choked up over it. Good companions, good friends, gave their life.
Plus, we'll travel up the road to revisit a scale replica of the Vietnam Wall, a permanent exhibit. It's a tribute to lives lost. We'll have those stories along with the latest in our Positively Healthy Medical series. I'm Amy Osher, and this is Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. Thanks for joining us this Memorial Day weekend. The Purple Heart is recognized as a symbol of courage, bravery, and sacrifice. It's the oldest military award still given today. The medal and its honorees are held in high regard everywhere, but it's ever present at a local military museum. The battlefield knows no color, race, or creed. The exception is the color purple, set aside to honor instances of bravery. The Purple Heart Medal is awarded for unusual gallantry in battle and extraordinary fidelity in service. What kind of reverence is there for the Purple Heart Medal?
So if you're talking to a veteran that received the Purple Heart, they would say, I didn't duck fast enough. But anybody else looks at it as in awe, in awe. You know, all soldiers sign their name on the dotted line and will give anything up to and including their life for this country and for our freedoms.
And it's that sacrifice and service that's recognized here at Florida's Purple Heart Wall exhibit, permanently housed inside the Southwest Florida Military Museum.
It was a traveling wall for several years that went up and down the state of Florida. And they called us one day and said, would you like to permanently place this because we don't want it in storage anymore? And they came in, they actually helped us build this.
Featured prominently are Florida service members who died defending our country. The photo panels start with recent history.
Any of the multiple Gulf Wars, they could have been serving and lost their life. Our very own Daniel Eggers from Cape Coral is right here. He's the third one in on the top. And we actually have a memorial that his father made.
It's no surprise this monument to service made its final resting place here.
We have such a great military culture here in Southwest Florida. Cape Coral actually was the first city in Southwest Florida to become a Purple Heart city.
The Great Equalizer, the Purple Heart was the first military award given to officers, enlisted soldiers, and non-commissioned soldiers alike. It shares a place of honor among collected memorabilia from wars gone by.
Over 24,000 items are in here that have been cataloged that would be some type of artifact or item, and then over 6,000 nonfiction military books, which is quite significant.
During the World War II period, there were like 650,000 Jeeps, military Jeeps. They're called quarter-ton trucks.
Jim Zebek's interest in collecting was born from his father's service in World War II.
He was a mechanic, so he was in the motor pool. So he would have dealt with vehicles like this.
Paying tribute to those who sacrificed is the primary mission of the War Museum.
Well, that's one of the reasons why our museum exists, is to spread that knowledge and also to inspire the younger people to take an interest in it and show what the veterans have done for our country.
The Purple Heart Wall sparked great interest when it debuted on August 7th.
Which was National Purple Heart Day. We had about 500 people in here for that.
The faces they gaze upon are not alive to look back. He looks so young.
He was young then. It was 2004 and, you know, he was a kid.
The Purple Heart Wall is a top draw for visits, among veterans in particular who pause in memorial. Does it bring them back? Because when they served, in all likelihood, they were probably within this age group.
Yeah, you know, they wouldn't tell you if it did, but I would say yes.
Almost half of this country's veterans are over 65 years old. More than 1 million are aged 85 and above. In their golden years, they're prone to reflect on those military holidays. It promised to be a ride to remember. Mixed in the crowd of military vets are a few dozen retired veterans who made the trip from Bentley Village, traveling back in time on the Naples Princess.
It's a special day for me, and I do remember and want to my comrades, those that lived and those that died. I think that's what it's all about.
Freedom Waters Foundation is a nonprofit that provides marine activities and boating outings for people with disabilities, life-threatening illnesses, youth at risk, and veterans. The veterans that you'll see on board today are recent returnees and some World War II veterans, so we have the entire gamut.
The Korean War broke out in June of 1950, and I joined the Navy in August of 50 to be a naval cadet at Pensacola. And I got my wings after carrier qualifications. We were in Task Force 77 in Korea, and I flew 48 missions. About 85% of all of our missions were supporting the infantry on the front lines. They would lob in an artillery shell with a white props of smoke, and they'd say, "That's the target."
In 1951 to 53, I was in the U.S. for half of that time. Then I was over in Korea. I was a supply clerk in a replacement company there. I thought I was heading for the front lines, but I got pulled out to stay in the main area there, which I was very delighted about. We were issuing equipment to all these fellows going up to the lines and taking in equipment from the guys coming back.
I volunteered for the Army. I went to Fort Leonard Wood for basic training. Spent another couple of months there in combat engineer training. And then I went to Fort Belvoir, Virginia for additional training. Eisenhower was afraid that the Russians were going to attack us by coming over Alaska. And we had no combat maps of Alaska. And that was what I was trained to do. Flying helicopters in that climate, in that era, where the helicopters weren't quite what they are today, we lost a few. And we lost a few pilots, and we also lost a few surveyors that were in there.
The people that I flew with for 4 years, I mean, they became very close friends. And that's, naturally, they're the ones that you think about.
In Punta Gorda, you'll find an iconic tribute to soldiers who paid the ultimate price. Establishing the memorial was a military campaign in itself waged by a small group of retired veterans.
One of the members of the Vietnam Veterans of America got word that the traveling wall in Texas was going to be up for sale, and he brought that to our attention, and we briefly considered purchasing that and converting it to a permanent wall, and the mechanics and the nuts and bolts was just too awkward, and we could build this one for about the same amount of money.
Bill Adkins led the grassroots fundraising mission.
We ended up raising probably around $650,000, and that purchased what you see here, and this is pretty much the same as the one in D.C., except for the white litho in the lettering makes it easier to read. The granite is from the same quarry.
The Vietnam Memorial is known as the Healing Wall. The years of work this one took was in itself healing.
The whole effort really kind of redirected your thoughts, and rather than morose thinking, it was proud thinking.
Once the wall was completed, people started coming.
I have friends on this wall that I'm probably still alive because they're not.
The emotional response is too much for some, who silently pay their respect.
I am very proud of him and what his accomplishments were, and for him to come out here today meant the world to me.
And unless you've been there, you might say, I understand, but you don't. And it's very emotional that, you know, our hearts are here. And it kind of helps make it a little easier to get by.
A moving dedication here to stay, built by the same people who served and sacrificed.
This is a good representative of small town America, of high schools throughout the country that gave so many kids to that war.
Still ahead, our In the Know reporter has groundbreaking news on development plans near Southwest Florida International Airport. That story is coming up.
I'm here to tell you about some important projects that are being undertaken at Southwest Florida Regional Airport and how that will impact you when you fly out of here in the future. This road is a $14 million project called Skyplex Boulevard.
My name is Steve Unser, and cabinetry is my specialty. I have been creating custom designed cabinetry for 20 years in Southwest Florida. And now I am celebrating the grand opening of our new Naples showroom. Steve Unser Cabinetry will help you design your kitchen, bath, or home office with stunning results, offering the best quality of cabinets with a wide variety of design options and pricing to fit any budget. If your kitchen isn't becoming to you, you should be coming to us. Now 2 locations to serve you.
Hiring the right moving company is important. Best Moving and Storage is a family-owned and operated business serving Southwest Florida for over 22 years. From our free in-home estimate until the last piece of furniture is in your new place or stored in our climate-controlled warehouse, we treat you like family. Best Moving and Storage is fully licensed and insured, with all of our employees being certified drivers and packers. When it comes to protecting your treasured belongings, choose a company that's experienced and trustworthy. Call Best Moving and Storage today at 239-592-6565.
Jean LeBouf has been an anonymous food critic in Lee County for nearly 40 years, and now JLB is expanding into Collier County.
Look for a new review every week. You'll never know where I'll turn up.
Life here is amazing, and so is the joint care. At the Total Joint Center at Physicians Regional Healthcare System, we've changed the experience of joint replacement for good. With our comprehensive joint care program, most hip and knee replacement patients return home in just 2 days, because we know you want to get on with your active life. Pain-free living starts at Physicians Regional Medical Center Collier Boulevard and Physicians Regional Medical Center Pine Ridge.
Is your auto insurance keeping pace with your life? Ask for a AAA Triple Check Insurance Review to see if your current policy is still a good fit. An agent will assess changes in your life, like new vehicles or drivers. Make sure you've got the right coverage and all the discounts you deserve. They'll also see how a AAA membership can round out your protection on the road. Plus, provide roadside assistance, discounts, free services, and vacation extras. Ask for your AAA Triple Check today.
Looking for something to do this weekend? We've got you covered. From family-friendly options to restaurant reviews, plus tips on where to find the hottest new places in town, visit newspress.com and naplesnews.com to plan out your weekend. Better yet, have us at your fingertips and download our free app to your phone.
Vaccinations are a point of interest these days as cases of measles are on the rise. Health professionals are urging people to take advantage of shots that can provide them immunity from serious illnesses. Here's the latest in this week's Positively Healthy. Vaccinations aren't just for babies. Doctors stress they're the building blocks of preventative medicine.
Vaccine is one of the strongest things that we encourage on patients, because there's certain disease that can be totally prevented just with a single vaccine, and people doesn't realize the importance of that.
Dr. Eduardo Cabrera is board certified in family medicine. As a primary care provider, he advises his adult patients to take advantage of shots that are aimed at their age group.
We recommend flu vaccine yearly for every patient. We recommend Tdap, which is a tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis vaccine every 10 years. We recommend pneumonia shot. There's 2 of them after 65. in patients that doesn't have any health problem. People who have a chronic condition should be started earlier. And we also recommend the shingles vaccine after 50.
Truth is, many people are missing the opportunity to stay well because unlike young children, they're less likely to make medical well visits, even if a simple vaccine could save them a whole lot of hurt.
Could you imagine that people after 70 years old with a severe pneumonia for pneumococcal is very, very bad, and you can die because of that. So it's prevented with vaccination. So same as shingles, says that tetanus has been no tetanus reported in this country for years.
Despite the availability and reliability of vaccinations, some people still question whether they may have negative effects. Doctors say the big danger are the diseases themselves.
All of these are safe vaccine. There's no proof that you get infected with the vaccine. So you create resistance to the infections, and that's the point of the vaccine.
Deaths from preventable diseases have dropped due to vaccines, suggesting it's a safe bet to roll up your sleeves and give them a shot. David Dorsey, our In the Know columnist at the News Press, is back with more scoop this week. His sights are set on the latest buzz around the airport.
This is David Dorsey with the News Press and news-press.com and the In the Know column. I'm standing across the street from JetBlue Park, spring training home of the Boston Red Sox. I'm also standing on property owned by the Lee County Port Authority. I'm here to tell you about some important projects that are being undertaken at Southwest Florida Regional Airport and how that will impact you when you fly out of here in the future. This road is a $14 million project called Skyplex Boulevard. It will be the first of the big projects to be completed, and it will be opening mid-July, mid to late July. After that, we have a $77 million air traffic control tower that will be constructed between 2020 and 2023. To be completed later this year will be a $13 million modernization project where they will upgrade all of the kiosks at the gates, and they will have digital signage throughout the airport. And finally, there will be a $200 million expansion project that will consolidate security from 3 different checkpoints with 12 lanes to one primary security checkpoint area with 14 lanes that can be expanded to 18 lanes. That will be done between 2020 and 2023. And so you got to be wondering who's paying for all this. $14 million, $13 million, $77 million, $200 million. And thankfully, it's not me as a taxpayer. But when you do fly in or out of the airport, $6 from every ticket goes to the Lee County Port Authority. And so this year, 10 million people are expected to come in and out of here. That's $60 million right there in revenue that the airport can use for these projects. And the airport keeps setting records. We had 1 million passengers in January, 1.1 million in February, a record for the month of February. On March 23rd, 400 flights came in and out of here. On March 30th, 30,000 passengers came in and out of the airport. So as you can see, the airport is trending upward, and that's why the airport is doing all these different expansion projects to attract more visitors to Lee County. For the News Press and news-press.com, I'm David Dorsey with In the Know. Thank you for watching.
That leads us back to our newsroom and a look at a few more stories our reporters are covering on the beat.
Thanks, Amy. Hi, I'm Tad Mass, reporter over here at the Naples Daily News and the Banner. This week I am writing about a very special hair salon. Kate's Cuts, owned by Kate Owen, caters to children with autism. Sometimes these kids get kicked out of other establishments and have nowhere else to go. But Kate has her own autistic child. She has taken him to therapy and has begun integrating some of those ideas into her own haircuts. She gives free haircuts to any child with autism and tries to help them along the way feel comfortable. For more, read Saturday's edition of the Banner or go to naplesnews.com.
I'm Harriet Heighthouse, arts and entertainment writer for the Naples Daily News and naplesnews.com. When he was a young child, Jerome O'Connor of Naples used to cross the street to avoid the homes of Gold Star mothers who'd lost sons in World War II. He never got over his reverence for World War II places, and he's turned it into a book, The Hidden Places of World War II. Read about it in today's Naples Daily News and naplesnews.com.
Coming up, we put a top barbecuer on the hot seat, serving up tips to ignite your grilling game. That story is after the break on Behind the Headlines.
Life here is amazing, and so is the joint care. At the Total Joint Center at Physicians Regional Healthcare System, we've changed the experience of joint replacement for good. With our comprehensive joint care program, most hip and knee replacement patients return home in just 2 days, because we know you want to get on with your active life. Pain-free living starts at Physicians Regional Medical Center, Collier Boulevard, and Physicians Regional Medical Center, Pine Ridge.
Jean LeBouf has been an anonymous food critic in Lee County for nearly 40 years, and now JLB is expanding into Collier County.
Look for a new review every week. You'll never know where I'll turn up.
The area's only 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means you'll find less waiting for the care you need. And because we're full-service hospitals, a lot more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. Only at Physicians Regional Healthcare System.
Hiring the right moving company is important. Best Moving and Storage is a family-owned and operated business serving Southwest Florida for over 22 years. From our free in-home estimate until the last piece of furniture is in your new place or stored in our climate-controlled warehouse, we treat you like family. Best Moving and Storage is fully licensed and insured, with all of our employees being certified drivers and packers. When it comes to protecting your treasured belongings, choose a company that's experienced and trustworthy. Call Best Moving and Storage today at 239-592-6565.
My name is Steve Unser, and cabinetry is my specialty. I have been creating custom designed cabinetry for 20 years in Southwest Florida. And now I am celebrating the grand opening of our new Naples showroom. Steve Unser Cabinetry will help you design your kitchen, bath, or home office with stunning results, offering the best quality of cabinets with a wide variety of design options and pricing to fit any budget. If your kitchen isn't becoming to you, you should be coming to us. Now, 2 locations to serve you.
Is your auto insurance keeping pace with your life? Ask for a AAA triple check insurance review to see if your current policy is still a good fit. An agent will assess changes in your life, like new vehicles or drivers. Make sure you've got the right coverage and all the discounts you deserve. They'll also see how a AAA membership can round out your protection on the road. Plus, provide roadside assistance, discounts, free services, and vacation extras. Ask for your AAA triple check today.
Hi, I'm Lisa Conley with the Naples Daily News, and I'm so excited to introduce our new series, What's Up Naples. We'll showcase local businesses, explore hot button issues, and give you exclusive looks at events like Empty Bowls, the Winter Wine Festival, and local farmers markets. So join us and let us know what's happening at What's Up Naples at naplesnews.com.
So we focused most of our attention on the spirit of the holiday, but not to be left out is the flavor of the holiday. For many people, that means barbecue. Our USA Today team got with a master griller to share a few hot tips.
My favorite part of the summer barbecue is just seeing people's faces light up as they bite into your dish and everybody enjoying yourself. I'm Phil the Grill Johnson, Championship Pitmaster. Master your summer barbecue with my favorite tips. When I go to shop for pork ribs, my favorite rib is the spare rib because it's 2 for 1. You actually have the rib tips attached to the St. Louis. When I apply my rub, I go heavy because I want the meat to be penetrated by the rub I'm using. So I apply a liberal amount of rub. Now, if I had salt in this, that would make the ribs extra salty, and you don't want that. We want the meat to sweat. We want the rub to really sit in and penetrate into that meat and moisturize the meat. And then that's when it's ready for the grill. You can actually over smoke meats. Once I feel that I have a nice bark and a nice color on my meats, I'll wrap it nice and tight, throw a little juice and brown sugar in it just to kind of start a braise. By covering it in this foil, will stop the penetration of the smokiness that will bitter taste that meat.
So we got smokiness, we got some savoriness. Now we just added some sweetness to this rib, and it's going to be delicious at the end. If you're grilling a whole chicken, you want to definitely add something for moisture.
One tool I like to use is the beer can.
The purpose of the beer can is just to keep moisture in the inside cavity while it cooks. You got that fire going, it will dry out your breast if you do not inject or have anything in that cavity. When your rub starts to form that crust on your meat, you don't want it to dry out. So you just want to do a little spray, will do fine. It will just give a nice wet coat on the meat. It will help set the bark and also add moisture.
If you are going to do a spritz during your cook, you want to make sure that your seasoning or your rub is set. One of my best ways to make a gourmet steak is to sear your steak first.
What you're doing is you're setting a crust or a skin to keep the juices inside. By keeping the lid off is adding more air and it's increasing the temperature over those hot coals. Once I feel that this steak is seared, I'm going to take these steaks and put it on the indirect side to finish the cook. You don't want to slice into these steaks too early, otherwise all of the juices will just bleed out.
You know what? A party ain't a party without the complimentary sides. You definitely need the complimentary sides for your best barbecue cookout. Make it perfect. Bring the flavor to the party.
Finally this morning, it was a night, or more specifically, a fight to remember. A local mixed martial arts fighter was the underdog against a former UFC fighter, only it didn't look that way. Cosmo Alexander works and trains at a gym in Naples. A former pro soccer player from Brazil, he turned his attention to MMA, which combines boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, judo, and wrestling. This past weekend, he flew to Singapore to face off against Sage Northcutt, who was tearing up the MMA scene. It took 26 hours of travel time for a 29-second match. Cosmo landed a right-hand strike and the former UFC fighter went down. The upset making it a night to remember for this Naples athlete. That's all for us. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. You can always catch up on past editions by logging online to naplesnews.com and news-press.com. And if you'd like to support local journalism, we invite you to become a digital subscriber. Just log on to either website on the screen and start clicking. I'm Amy Osher. See you back here next week. And what kind of reverence is there for this display among your veteran population here?
It's very somber. It's sometimes tear-jerking when you walk through here, especially anybody that's been in combat, who's lost somebody in combat. So it's somber, but it's an honor.